Hey everybody, so today I'm doing a page with a drawing and I did this background and let it dry and dealt with it, and I put on a piece of music paper that I photocopied onto coffee dyed paper and made a pocket, and then I had these left over from one of my um, card making papers and decided that would be kind of cute. So I figured I'd use that as a little journal card to put in there just because, I don't know, I might change it and deal with it and make it more appropriate for it. Now, here's the thing with what I am drawing today, and it's every time I'm Capricorn, and the Capricorn pictures that they have always look like a demon. And so they're not demons, and I kind of resent that they do that. So I try to make some that look kind of cute, and this is my attempt at doing one. I do them quite often. I might put a couple pictures in so you could see some of the others I've done. Now, the hard part is that drawing, especially for myself, I can't do it on video. If I did, I would have to fast forward everything because it's really difficult to get the right line. I have to do a lot of erasures, and so I initially am. You can see here, I'm thinking about starting with my Stabilo pencil and doing it and having it go into the shadows. And then it's sort of like, no, that's not going to work. So here's my pencil drawing that I did off camera. And yeah, of course, there's erasures and then darker lines where I liked it. So I kind of fuss with this for a little bit. And the other part that's really hard with a doing a drawing is when you go to paint it. I'm not a painter. I wanted to be an art teacher, but that's a whole other story. So we'll get into that later. But I never got formal training. So this is an ink pen that's it's not water soluble. I forgot what the name of it is, but it's one that will last when I put paint on it. It won't spread. It won't be a problem when I put paint on it. And so my thinking here is if I outline the things I want with this indelible ink pen, then it will be in the background and I'll be able to bring it forward with black paint. So that's a part of what I'm doing here. Now, some of you are probably other kind of artists and do very, very well. And if you're watching me, I'm totally thrilled. But this is like just showing you, just do your thing, do your art, whatever it is. Put it out there. Sometimes I'll do something and I'll be so concerned with how it turned out that I don't ever post it. And sometimes I don't even finish it. I'll erase it or I'll collage over it. I'll ignore it. But what I'm finding, some of my things that I've done in the past, when I bring them out and I haven't seen them in a while, I forget. I forget that and I'll show you the pictures later on of the things I've done in the past where it's a really sad thing to say, but I sort of impressed myself. I was like, wow, I did that. I remember doing them, but I don't remember them coming out as well when I did them. Now here I have to turn everything because I did everything that I could from the right side. And then I find that if I turn the page, I can do the left side a little easier. I don't know if anybody else can does that, or if you have any tricks, boy, put that in the comments below on how you can do the opposite side of the page that you work on. I find that I have difficult time crossing over. Some of the things I can do, but some of them, they don't come out right. And sometimes I have to remember, like the creases on the horns, I should have put them from the top down. Instead, I went from underneath up. But, you know, it is what it is. I just deal with it. So the next part should be my painting. Not going to fast forward. You can fast forward. It's up to you. I'm just going to leave this way because I find it's easier. If I have a really long stretch of something that I can take out, I will if it's meaningless. But mostly, right now I'm just getting the paints and deciding on what colors. And my other pictures, I think I did some other colors. Oh, this, as I'm looking at this now, and when I had it initially, I was like, oh, I should have left it like that with the illustration on top of the purple, because I really like how that looks. But I needed to try. I really need to practice doing the coloring and the painting and trying to up my game with that, because I think my drawings with certain things, not everything, but certain things, I'm finding my style. After a while, you stop doing copying others, because copying is the way to learn. I've learned from Jenny Belly on doing journals. I've learned collages from her, how to use other materials and just letting your creative sense be. I've learned how to do some drawings of the female face from Jane Davenport. There's another artist, and if I can think of her, I'll bring it up. Sometimes remembering things is tough when you're on the spot. So I don't have a script, and that's why sometimes remembering what I want to tell you is kind of... Oh, Willowing Arts, that's her name. Willowing Arts. She does a whole life book thing where different artists come together and teach you. That's a really fun one to do as well. I enjoyed that. Now here's my dilemma. My paints that I'm using are not artist grade paints. They are the cheapy kind, because I wanted to say I am not worthy of expensive paints. The cheapy kind tend to have a lot of see-throughness. You can see through to the background. That's why, you know, sometimes maybe your background has to be a certain way, and you have to consider that when you're painting on top of it. I apologize. I did a close-up so you could see the illustration and see sometimes when I'm working, I'm going about it and I think you can see everything, and then I realize later on that you can't. So it does come up, and you'll basically, all I'm doing is filling in. I'm trying to avoid the dark lines. Eventually I give up on that, because I could see that I can see through the paint and I see the dark lines, and I figure I'll just paint over that with a black acrylic paint, which should be okay. Trying to use metallic paints to give a little interest to my Capricorn, my little beast, trying to get him to be giving it some detail without trying to make it look like it's got fur, just something different. So I'm using a dark brown in a brownish metallic paint. And the way the camera picks up on it, it reflects the metallic paint. So even though I'm mixing the paint together, the way it is being reflected in the camera only shows a portion of it. So we shall see a little bit more of that when I go up to the horns. And the thing is, you're going to, I'm going to pull the camera back in a little bit. I know I did that because at one point I'm like, wait a minute, did I? See, I have the lighting and it's right in front of my face, so I can see down on my page, but I can't see the camera. And sometimes it's hard. It's tough. But I don't have a ton of subscribers, so I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried that anybody's going to be insulted or angry or, they don't know how to do the fast forward, because apparently they do. I look at my stats and I can see it's, nobody's watching it from beginning to end. It's fine. I'm doing what I can to help promote being artistic, being who you are. I started what I would say being crafty when I was a kid. I remember, I don't know why, but I seem to have been sick a lot. And when I was sick, there's people in my family would bring me little things, because I was an only child up until a certain age. They would bring me something to keep me busy, to keep me out of their hair, I guess. And it had to do with pipe cleaners, little funky heads of, like little beads that had faces on them, things like that. And, pot holder makers, paint by numbers, that was a big deal too. So I think that was my call, going to help. See, I finally realized I'm not in I'm not in this screenshot. So being creative, doing something like this, whether it's this or whether it's making something for a party, or if it's just doing a journal or doing a collage, it sort of brings me to my happy place. And then sometimes when, we get kind of sad, it's the happy place. That's not even going to help. It just, you don't have whatever it is you need that's going to push you towards, doing something creative. So that's just how it works for me. That's not how it is for everybody else. And sometimes I just have to go read a book, or I go and I watch TV programs that make me, get me out of my funk. That's just what it is. That's what works for me. I'm old enough to understand myself better now. So, all right. So right here with the 1-inch brush, so there's a brush stroke on my page, and because it's see-through, or you can see through the paint and how it's put on the canvas, excuse me. So I used the 1-inch brush to make it all go like it was fur. Excuse me, I got the hiccups now. Oh gosh, I hope I bring the horns in. Look, I backed up so that, or I pushed it up so you could see it, and now I'm concerned about whether or not you'll see the horns. Oh well. So in any case, you can see that this is a metallic gold. It's really pretty. In real life, it's real pretty. And I thought that would make a nice focal point for the the horns on Capricorn, and she's, you know, it's starting to come around. I have the swirls in her body, and I'll bring that out once everything dries up. Now, when I move past, hopefully it'll come up, when I move past the point where you don't have the purple background, you tend to see through the paint a little more. So that just tells me that if I put a base coat down and then I cover it with this metallic paint, the coverage is better. So initially I put down a light coat, even though it's just on the canvas itself or the art paper itself. And you could see I'm adding some brown in it to try to, I don't know, try to give it something so that it blends better. The one thing you don't want is when, excuse me, when your piece is showing the canvas through. And I guess I could have let it dry and then gone back and put a second coat on, but I get impatient. I'm trying to use that darker brown to highlight, put a shadow in under the horn, and then take a brighter one and make it on top and make it a highlight. It will come up soon. I probably should fast forward this, but like I said, you can fast forward. Nobody really needs to hear my stories. So, as it is right now, I'm trying to focus in on doing my drawings and adding paint to it and trying to get that better. And I think it's coming. It's difficult, but I think it's coming around. I think with every time I do it, I can do it better. There are days, I don't know if anybody else has this, but there are days when it seems like I'm doing really well, and then I go to try to do the same thing over again. The same picture, the same drawing, the same coloring, and I can't get it to work. It's just not gelling. It's like my fingers are not getting the right message from my brain. I have no idea. I think I suddenly realized that you can't see. So there it is. All right. So now you'll see what I'm talking about. You see how it's funny that, you know, through the camera lens, you don't see it as much as I do in real life. So there's a see-throughness, you can see through the paint here. And it doesn't look like it. It just looks like it got darker. But where the paint is on the background, where the purple paint is, it went on really nicely. It sort of filled in nice. But up on the top where there isn't any, the background paint is so light you can see through it. It's really weird how cameras can do this. And that's why so many people can adjust their coloring. I don't know how to do that just yet. I use the automatic thing where I tell the camera to figure it out, make it better. So I put a little brown in there so that it will darken it up a little, so it'll do a better coverage. Okay, so I suggest doing one thing that you particularly like to do or draw, and keep trying to do it in different ways, and that might help. At least it would give you some practice doing stuff that is helpful. So, yeah. Now I got to pick out a paint for her face. Let's see what we can come up with, shall we? there's again, trying to make the paint strokes go in the direction of what I perceive to be the way the horns are made. Yep, putting some darkness in there, some dark colors to help. All right. I'm going to fuss with this a little bit, apparently. You don't realize it when you're doing it. You realize it when you're filming. So I'm going to tip it so that you can kind of see what I see, hopefully. All right. A quick dry, and we'll be back. Okay, so now we're going to work on the face. And so for me, the horns and the face are the focal point, and the body itself is really just an addition to help give you the illusion of what this is. So I've got a lighter reddish, brownish, almost deer color, and it's really not as, it comes across shiny on the film. It's not really that shiny. It's just the way the reflection of the light is. You'll see that it's more of a reddish brown. So again, I'm trying to keep the color in the background out of the way, trying to just, sort of like it's a base coat, more or less. As I said, maybe I should have just left it as it was with the ink and let it be. Maybe that's something I can try in the future. But I don't know. I think it's working. It's a matter of just keep trying until it gets right. And when I'm doing this, I'm thinking to myself in what direction the fur is going on it, and trying to keep the brush strokes going in that direction. And my paints dry very quickly because we're in the desert, and so I needed to make it a little bit more fluid, a little less dry. And eventually I just decide to paint over the nostrils. Just go with it. I figure I'm going to fill in with the black ink anyway, or the paint with black acrylic paint to bring out the details, and it's going to work. I know it works because I know the end. Okay. So my guys are going to be, they're going to have green eyes. I think some people might have chosen a different color. I chose two different greens to sort of give it, because it's supposedly my zodiac sign, and I have different colored eyes depending upon who sees them and what I'm wearing. I don't know if anybody else has that, but it's like they're mostly greenish. I've had people tell me I have blue eyes. I've never seen that, so I just go with the green one because it's like a celadon green. So I don't know. I figured my zodiac sign should have green eyes, and maybe occasionally I'll do one that has blue eyes. But so now this is where doing the left side of something with my right hand is difficult. Now, although I have outlines there to help guide me, I really have a problem getting everything balanced. So I probably would have been better off if I turned it upside down so I could have the left eye on my right side while I was filling in the paint, but I figured I would try to master it. It's tough. I don't know how artists do that. I really don't, because it just seems very tricky. Tricky. So I have to fix the iris. I think it's called the iris. I may be, it's the black part of the eye. Because the one on the left is narrower. It doesn't look as roundish as the one on the right. So I have to make some adjustments and I'm doing it by eye. So bring you in so that you can see. You see the two different colors that I used, sort of giving it, it's really very stark right here. And in real life, it's not as, it could be that it's just the paint reflecting on the camera, on the lighting. Let's see what I think is it's working, and then when I look at it, it's not. So I have to make adjustments, trying to fix it so that they both look equal to the best of my ability. Okay, now I gotta find some white, and while I'm looking for the white, I'm going to, oh, never mind. I see what I'm doing now. I'm taking the black paint while I have it and doing the outlines on the stuff I think would benefit, which was my thought. So it looks like when things are wet, it really reflects the light on the camera. I don't know if I can adjust that. I know when I see other people, they may have better lighting than I do. I have a magnifying lamp that's attached to another light that I bought just for doing crafts, and I use that as my lighting. And for the most part, I think it's okay. But I bet I didn't pull back on this. All right, we're gonna fast forward because I don't think I pulled back. You poor people. I'll do it after I finish with the eyes. Okay, so we've pulled back a little bit, and now we're just gonna do the detail, putting the detail on the horns. You can see I did a little bit of the detail down on the torso. We're just gonna bring that, and I think this worked. I think using the inks initially to do the outlines, and then painting because I could see through the paint the detail. Then really fine-tuning it with the acrylic paint. I think that worked out nicely. I don't know. What do you think? Oh, maybe if you have ideas, that'd be great if you could tell me. If you know of somebody that can help with that, I think it would be awesome. Okay, I fast forward this for you because we're just outlining, that's all. So the next big thing is doing the highlights in the eyes. Now that is if nothing else, that is really what brightens everything. Using a white acrylic to, I've been putting 2 marks in the eyes to brighten them up. And now just putting some highlights across different areas. I start off thinking, okay, on the top, that's where light would reflect. And then it's like, well, I have this paint. What am I going to do with it? So I try different things just to kind of put it out there. I don't know if I'm doing it right. Who knows? Somebody must know. Is it me? No, it's not me. Yeah, a little eyeshadow. I like it. I like it. Yep, let's do that over there. Ta-da! I loving it. I loving it. And then we start fussing with everything else because that's what I do. We fuss with it. Okay, so just a few more touches here and there. And then we're going to show you the final product. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you wouldn't mind, if you would just give me a thumbs up, maybe a comment would be lovely. Subscribe if you haven't. And if you have subscribed and you are back here watching, thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. And I will see you on the next one. Ta-ta for now.